Coming up on the Sell Your Book podcast.
That's the only reason it's actually listed on Amazon. It's really just to say, hey, I'm an author. I know what I'm talking about. You're considering hiring me, but aren't sure about it for AI to train or to speak to your group. Here, let me send you a copy of my book. And it's a game changer. I mean, I've brought in about $4,000 or $5,000 from speaking gigs.
Have you gotten any clients directly as a result of the book?
Yes, I have. And I can tell because in the book, there is a call to action in the back of the book that says, hey, you wanna work with me? Go to kendracorman.com/VIP consult. And it actually redirects them to schedule a little informational meeting. And so I've actually been able to track people who schedule those meetings with me from the book. And I'm getting at least one a week. And the only place that I really promote it is my book.
Welcome to Sell Your Book. It's the podcast for existing or aspiring self-published business book authors who want to know what's working right now to help you sell more books, get more clients from your books, and expand your opportunities. If this is your vibe, you gotta subscribe. Now, let's get into today's conversation. Welcome to this episode, and I think I say this every single time. I'm always excited to talk to all of my guests. My guest today is someone I recently met online, and I'm like, we're kindred spirits. I absolutely love her already. So today we are talking to Kendra Corman, and Kendra Corman is a marketing strategist whose focus is helping entrepreneurs and small businesses grow by using effective, results-driven marketing. Her expertise is in email list growth, podcasting, and AI-powered marketing. Kendra Corman is the managing director of H2H Consulting, which she started after years of working for national brands such as Jeep and Kaufman Financial Group. Now, that's the official story, but however, a little bit of digging, I'm like, oh, she started her company because she was kind of mad at the experiences that she was having. She was like, you know what? I can do this better. And so here we have it. Okay. So we're going to get into that story. Now, here's what really brought her to the stage. She is not only is she the host of the Imperfect Marketing Podcast, which I love that name because, I mean, which one of us is perfect? No one, right? And it's just the idea that you don't have to do things perfectly. You just got to get it done. And me right now, I'm in my done is better than perfect era, so it flows. It works for me. Anyhow, Kendra is the host of the Imperfect Marketing Podcast and recently became an author when she published Mastering AI in Communications. And when she told me some of the results that she was getting from like week 1 of publishing her book, I was like, you gotta come on the show. So therefore, that's why we have today Miss Kendra Corman. Welcome, everybody. Put your virtual hands together. Jazz hands, right? Virtual hands, all of the things. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be here.
Awesome. So I'm not sure if I want to like jump straight into like the AI conversation, jump into the book, jump into your background. I don't know. Where would you like to start? Because I'm all over the place. And so I will bounce.
So, I mean, we can start with my background so that they know that I like actually do know what I'm talking about.
Look. It's that sense of humor that just tickles me so much. Yes. Let's get into your background. So how did you get, I mean, I've just read through the whole LinkedIn and the whole website, but let the people know, how did you get started doing what you do as a marketing consultant?
So I started, as you mentioned, at Chrysler. I was the Jeep advertising manager at the end of 2008. There might have been a recession coming. And so everybody at Chrysler was offered checks to quit our jobs. So I said, yes, please. And I quit. Before that, I was the SRT marketing manager, and I had done many jobs at Chrysler, working my way up from the call center where I answered customers' calls and things like that. So it was an awesome experience. I learned so much there. Then I moved over to HW Kaufman Group, which is an insurance wholesaler, and I learned so much there. But I got frustrated. Because I didn't have the power to do what I needed to do. Again, learned a ton. The CEO there gave me all the knowledge and the confidence that I needed when I combined with my MBA to start off on my own. And he was even my first client, which really gave me confidence to start my business. And yeah, then I started HCH Consulting, which was a done-for-you marketing agency. I worked as an outsourced marketing department. And then I've been evolving my company because there's only so many hours in the day and only so much I can do.
Right.
So now I try to teach small businesses, entrepreneurs, and nonprofits what I know so that they can actually execute it on their own, which saves them a boatload of money than having me do it. So yeah, it's a fun time.
I want to dig into that frustration because usually there is a story in there. What exactly were you frustrated about? And where did you come in where you were like, you know what, I could do this better?
So, so I got frustrated because every approval had to go through so many different people. We were very streamlined, but every approval. And so every initiative, every small little task had to get approved by so many people. And again, I'm my personality is let's get it done, let's move ahead. It doesn't have to be perfect. And we weren't getting things done. Definitely not as quickly as we should have. And that was frustrating. I'm also a bit of a recession style marketer. So I believe in things that move the needle. And the company was in a place where they were starting to really invest in brand building activities, which I'm not against. Did plenty of those at Jeep. But if it doesn't have a return, I really get frustrated. I want to see that return. It's not just about sponsoring athletes and, having some brand name spokesperson and things like that. I actually don't like brand name spokespeople because they scare me. Like, what are they going to do? What front page, what newspaper or tweet are they going to mistype? And then my brand suffers. So, so moving into a lot more of those brand initiatives, I always feel like that's wasting money. I mean, yes, there's an investment. There's a part of it that needs to do that. I get that 100%. I have no issue with that. But I wanted the majority of funds going to what's going to move the needle.
Gotcha. So in your work now, so what are some of those things that are the move the needle type activities that small business owners, and even if people who are watching, they are authors and they're working on building their author business. I think these same tactics could probably work for them. What are some of those move the needle tactics?
Direct mail. It's going to sound silly. But for my nonprofits, if you're trying to get into somebody, I'll do a little show of my book, but mail this in a padded envelope to somebody and say thank you, or thank you for all the support that you've given me throughout my journey. Here's a copy of my book. Every time I mail out a book, I get emails back from people saying, hey, thanks so much. I read your book. I loved it. So direct mail, actual physical mail. People don't get that very much. So thank you notes, those types of letters through the U.S. Postal Service is amazing. Podcasting. If you don't want to have your own podcast, that's fine. Podcast guesting. It doesn't matter. Content is king, and being able to get exposure to other people's audiences can really grow yours a ton. And that is huge, especially when you're getting the word out about a book or your service, whatever it happens to be. Mm-hmm. And then email marketing. I think for the last 15 years, people have been saying that email marketing is dying. They've been saying it for 15 years, and it's still not dead. It's
Never.
Still not. It is still. I was actually doing the math because I was working with my copywriting coach and on my emails, and I was doing the math. My email list brought in $30,000 in the first 6 months of 2024.
Because social, you don't control social. You don't own that. And if they decide to yank your profile at any minute because one person is spamming them and saying, I don't like this content, how are you connecting with people? How are they going to find you?
one of my really good friends, her name's Brenda Meller. I use her for LinkedIn tips and things like that all the time. So if you're looking to follow someone on LinkedIn, Brenda Meller, check her out. But she even got into LinkedIn jail. She had too many tabs open or too many instances of it, and she was in LinkedIn jail for 2 weeks.
I didn't know LinkedIn had a jail. That's like Facebook has a jail, Instagram has a jail. I didn't know LinkedIn had a jail.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
What do you have to do that?
Could you imagine? Well, she had a bunch of tabs open, and I think they went in for too long and different. She wasn't active enough and things like that.
They're like, oh, they think you're in multiple places or something.
Yeah. Right. So, but like someone whose job is LinkedIn, luckily she was able to tell everybody because we were on her email list. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Email is just, it is the number one most effective and efficient marketing tool out there.
Now, how did you get into being an advocate for AI tools and productivity?
So I was like, this is stupid. I'm like, I don't use AI. And this guy was presenting about AI.
You have me cracking up back here. Okay, absolutely cracking up. But go ahead.
I was like, I don't use AI. And this guy was giving his presentation in my networking group about AI. And he's like, Kendra, you use more AI than anybody else in this room. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, Sanebox, that's AI. He goes, you know your little note taker? And I'm like, yeah, otter.ai. And I was like,
right.
Oh, okay. I mean, it sounds silly, but it's true.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't
realize AI was like around for a lot longer than they thought. Like before OpenAI came out with ChatGPT, AI stuff was around already. It was in your stuff already. You just didn't know.
Well, and I use it for my podcast. It was transcribing stuff, and a lot more AI tools are available now. But so I started using it. I started playing with it. I started following people that were talking about AI to really understand its capabilities. And I invested a ton of time in it. AI saves me 3 hours per podcast episode. I do 2 episodes a week. So that's 6 hours a week. It's time saving just on my podcast. And it's my email, my ugly first draft is AI. My social media posts. If I can't write a sympathy card, I never know what to put in a sympathy card ever. Thank goodness ChatGPT and Claude.ai do. But I'm able to take AI generated content, or I should say my original content, feeds AI, and then can give it in my personality. And I save on average probably close to 30 hours a week just by leveraging AI.
Love it. So, what prompted you to write your book, right? And the title, let me grab the title one more time, and I'm sure you're going to show us the picture as well. So, what prompted you to write the book, Mastering AI in Communications? When did that get started, and when did you publish it?
Okay, so don't laugh too hard. Okay, so
Not I had
in December. So in December of 2023, I had my 3rd or 4th guest on my podcast, all different people talking about book publishing and thought leadership. And I'm like, I wonder if I could do this. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to write a book. And I was moderating a panel in February 6th. And I said, and I'm going to do it so that I have hard copies for the panel. Like, won't that be cool? So February 6th is when it was published. December is when I decided I was going to write a book. And I basically took a recording of my presentation that I give on mastering AI in communications, loaded it into ChatGPT, and asked it a bunch of questions. It helped me with the outline. And then I had it help me, again, outline a little bit of the chapters and what I wanted to cover. And then I wrote it from there. And because it was my content, it truly was my content.
I think that is such an exemplary way of using a tool like ChatGPT to help you write a book. You're taking your ideas. It's your content. It's not, hey, ChatGPT, write a book for me about, I don't know, gardening. Let's go put it on Amazon. No, I can't stand that. So I love that. So let me ask you this, and I always ask everyone, did you consider yourself a writer? Now, with a marketing background, you've probably done quite a bit of writing and copywriting in your time. So, did you feel like you were a writer? Is writing something that you always love to do, or has it been something that was just like, you know, it comes with the job, so you do it, but
So in my MBA program is when I really realized I was actually a good writer. So it had taken me a long time to get there.
mhm,
Um, and I, I knew I was a good writer,
mhm.
but I had nowhere near the interest or patience to write a book. I was like, I'm not writing a book. I'm like, people sending emails going, I'm taking off the next 6 months to work on my book. It's been an idea of mine. And I'm like, I have like 3 hours a week that I can dedicate to this thing. Like, so I'm like, no, we're not writing a book. So I was actually adamant that I was never going to write a book, not because I couldn't write, but more because I just didn't have time.
Well, I think that is one of the misconceptions that people have, and they think that in order to write a book, you have to like lock yourself away from the world for 3 years and then come back with this masterpiece from off the mountaintop. And for some people, if that's your process, that's 100% okay, but it's not for everything. And I think also when you are writing a business book, you're writing about something that you know, it doesn't have to take forever. You already have the idea. You already are talking about this. You're already working with people on it, with your clients. You have, like you said, you took, you basically repurposed a piece of content. You repurposed a presentation that you had. Um, uh, Bridget, she's going to be 2 episodes before you, I think. She talked about how, taking her content that she'd been posting for a while. And she was like, wait, hold on. Let's grab this up and let's repurpose it and make a book. So guys, gals, if you are a business owner, if you are a thought leader, if you're, some kind of consultant, if you've got knowledge that you're always working with and working in on a consistent basis, you probably have something that's already the genesis of a book. So it doesn't have to take you forever. It does help if you are a good writer, but it's okay. So you basically wrote it from December through February, basically a month, basically.
So I locked myself away for a weekend. I wrote it, let it sit for a week or two,
Mhm.
went back to it, did some heavy editing because I was like, what? On some of the sections. But I sent it to print. See, I had to have it in hands by February 6th. Kindle Direct Publishing was going to be 2 weeks. So I think I sent it to print around January 17th.
Wow. So yeah, you got that done pretty fast, which is
And it's,
amazing.
don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a short book. It's not,
And
800
it
pages or
doesn't have
anything
to be
crazy.
long. It doesn't have to be long. So you wrote the book specifically with a very specific what you call it event in mind. Where was that a physical in-person event? Was that a virtual event?
It was a physical in-person event. And
Okay.
so I wanted to have hard copies on the table for everybody to take away.
Okay. So what happened? Basically, that's your launch, your book launch, your coming out party. So tell us what happened at your book launch.
I got 7 speaking events, trainings, speaking events, people that wanted to hire me to talk to their teams, their organization, paid speaking events. Now, before this, I've had 1 paid speaking event. That
Listen,
was it. I had
we
done it
need to
for
make it
free
rain
all
over
before
here.
that. And it was amazing. Like, I didn't actually, and I love it every month when I get my little deposit from Amazon. But and my bookkeeper's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "Book sales."
Let's see.
So I mean, they're
That's
never
money.
they're never very much because I don't push it too much that way. It was meant as a lead generator and a way to establish me as a thought leader. Because if you think about it, if it's me versus somebody else for a training on AI, who are they going to pick? The person with the book or the person without the book? Well, I have an edge on pretty much everybody when it comes to this topic because I have the book. And that's been just such a powerful tool for me to use with other people. It's gotten me additional coaching clients. It's given me fuel for content for my YouTube channel and my podcast and everything else that goes with it. And I'm one of those, I'm not a techie, but I'm one of those shiny object people when it comes to technology, that I love all the new tools. And so productivity has always been getting more done in less time's always been a passion of mine. And AI just makes that happen. And so the more people I can help with it, because I'm tired of the robotic answers that people are just asking ChatGPT, please write a response to this. It's like, no, you are the social media manager for Kendra Corman of KendraCorman.com and the Imperfect Marketing Podcast. She has asked you to write a response to a recent LinkedIn post that someone had done. She would like to add a comment that covers X, Y, and Z. Please draft it. The voice should be conversational. Feel free to add in some tongue-in-cheek humor and pop culture references. The difference in that prompt is game-changing.
And I'm having you back on the channel. We're gonna do some kind of screen share because me and prompting, we're not friends. So because, and I really don't say this facetiously, but I don't have problems coming up with ideas for content at all. So I don't think of using a chat GPT or it's not Bard, it's Gemini. I don't think of using these tools in that way. I may ask it a question in terms of to help clarify some research I may have done, or I may put something in that I've written and it's a rough draft, or and I'll say, can you rewrite this for me? And I'm just looking for other ideas, iterative ideas from my own stuff. But I don't think of. I'm like, I don't even know where to start with prompting this thing. Like, it's so much. Like by the time I think of the prompt, I'm like, I could have thought it myself. So I definitely want to have you back on for a collaborative video on how to prompt because it's necessary.
It is. And I would say in the beginning, I was very similar to you. Like I could have written it by now. But I have most of my pieces as copy and paste, and then I just make a couple of edits in it. And I'm a lot less tired. Writing uses a lot of brain calories.
It does.
A lot of brain calories. I am way less tired at the end of the day. I could put in a 12, 13-hour day when I was putting in like a 6 or 8-hour day in the past. And I was exhausted at the end of that 6 or 8 hours. And now I still have energy left, even though I'm working more, because I'm burning less brain calories. But for someone like you who's got amazing content and amazing ideas and loves writing, AI works like a critic, right? You can put it in and say, hey, what's the key message that you're taking away from this? And if it's not the one you meant, like you need to do some editing. I've had to do that. It's like, this is what I'm taking away from that. I'm like, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay. Good to know. But I'll put a PDF of a PowerPoint presentation into Claude.ai, which is one of my favorite ones. And I'll say, dear Claude, what are the 3 main takeaways you have from this presentation? And it'll tell me. And if it's not the 3 takeaways I wanted, like, okay, these are really the 3 takeaways I wanted, what would you change? And it'll give me direction on how to change the outline or how it's presented, how to reiterate the points that I want people to walk away with.
Now, talk to me a little bit about Claude AI, because literally I got introduced to Claude AI in a video of yours that I watched last week. I was like, wait, what? What's Claude? Who's this? I never heard of this one. So
So Claude came out a little bit after ChatGPT. It's very similar. It's a chatbot. It's by a company called Anthropic, and Claude is what they call a constitutional AI. So Claude has a lot more, I'll say, guardrails around its content than necessarily some of the other AI tools out there. And because it's not open to the internet, so it's got less capabilities than ChatGPT, but I find that Claude's a lot more reliable when it comes to drafting content. Um, when I ask it to, hey, here's 5 points. I need a 100 to 300 character bio of myself. And it's like, I'm like, what on earth am I cutting out? So it'll take care of all of that for me. Its voice is a lot more conversational, even when I say conversational. It's a little bit, again, it doesn't search the internet, it can't look up websites, so it's closed. But I actually sometimes think that that's good because it's learning a lot less mistakes and it's taking more of my direction. Sometimes ChatGPT will like go off and I'm like, no,
Yes,
the punctuation goes inside the quotation marks, ChatGPT.
because I'm like, sometimes I'll ask something and I'm like, that's not what I wanted. This is the waste of my time. I'm out. So that's when I'm just like, I know people are using this in amazing ways, but I'm like, yeah, this is not really for me. But thanks, though.
And Claude's ability to read PDFs and things like that, like I'm like, hey, summarize this for me. I'll put my latest freebie or guide into ChatGPT or into Claude.ai and ask it what it thought. And I usually get a more thorough answer sometimes than ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is definitely my workhorse because it can go to websites and things like that. But Claude.ai is definitely my writing partner.
I like that. Okay. All right.
It's all different tools.
I have a tendency to. I used to use Otter.ai for transcription. I stopped using them because I found a new love. Um, but I mean, they kind of pissed me off because I was using them from a couple years ago. They started off at like $10 a month, and then they went to 12, and then they zoomed up to 30. I was like, what?
I
Right?
think that's
Because
about
they
the time that I dropped Otter too.
and they threw in all this stuff that I didn't really ask for, and I didn't really find it that helpful. And I still had to like go through the transcription and fix mistakes. And then somebody was talking about Cast Magic like a couple months ago, and I was like, wait, what's that? Oh my god! 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 I
I've
need to
heard
get a
great.
referral link because Cast Magic. I throw my audio recordings in there. I am forever. You know, my dirty first drafts are on my phone. I'm speaking out my dirty first draft, and then I transcribe it, and then I work from there. Well, they give you number one, accurate. Okay, I don't have to fix anything in the transcription. That's number one. And then number two, they give you different ways to interact with your content, and you can have it summarized. You can have it. It gives you key takeaways. You can say, give me five, 1 minute YouTube short scripts from your stuff. I found that such to be a much better partner and tool than Otter.ai. So I was paying $30 for them. Now I'm paying $40 for Cast Magic. I'm like, it's worth it. Here you go. Here's my money. Take it every month. So like that kind of a tool, that really resonates with me for me. So I will definitely have to check out Claude and see how I can play around with that and make things a little bit happy. What I want is a magical video editor. That's what I want.
Right? I know. And it's like Descript's got some cool tools. All of them are pretty neat in terms of what they can do. But I'm like, no. I just want it done. I just want magic to happen.
I find that I have to tweak too much with the script, so I'm just like, I may as well
I'm
just
with
do
you.
it myself.
I use Riverside. I still have to tweak. Riverside.fm is my main podcasting recording tool. And I love it because it'll suggest magic clips. It actually drafts show notes. The show notes are not in a format that I feel comfortable copying and pasting, but it's got enough information that I can copy and paste or copy and paste the transcript into Claude and have it do my show notes. So there's just a lot of really good pieces that I can take from it. And Riverside, I think I pay like $288 a year or something like that. So it's not break the bank pricing.
Right.
And again, automatic transcriptions. No, they're not 100%. Close enough. Enough to get the message so that when I'm creating social media posts or it's identifying clips and I get the transcript of the clip to put a caption with it, it's good enough for what I need.
Gotcha. So we kind of slipped from talking about And we slipped into productivity and AI, which is not a bad thing because these are things that any writer can actually really use. Um, I'd like to just swing back around to your book and how it's been getting you just amazing results, like right out the gate, and producing magic money every month. So what? Oh gosh, I had the question and it just like flipped out of my head. Um, so in the last couple of months, have you been keeping track as to like approximately how many books you've sold? Now I remember you told me off screen that you didn't even write the book to sell.
No, I wrote the
Which
book,
I
and
find so hilarious. What did you mean by that?
the only reason that that book is on Amazon is because I put it through Kindle Direct Publishing, and because of my page count, it's $2.30 for an author copy, or not an author copy, but a like my copy.
Hmm.
Um, and I can't buy Post-its to give away at an event or something like that for $2.30 each. So that's the only reason it's actually listed on Amazon. It's really just to say, hey, I'm an author. I know what I'm talking about. You're considering hiring me, but aren't sure about it for AI, to train or to speak to your group. Here, let me send you a copy of my book. And it's a game changer. I mean, I've brought in, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. And again, like I published this thing in
February.
February.
And it's now
Um,
July. What is today? The 29th? Yeah, 29th.
I've brought in about $4,000 or $5,000 from speaking gigs from the
Great.
book. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Now my book sales have probably brought in like $100,
That's okay.
which is
That's
fine,
okay. It's
totally
fine.
fine.
I
But
mean, the book has
I'm a,
already brought you at least, $5,000 and $4,000 to $5,000 in additional. In you didn't even have to work for that. You just go, show up, speak, be pretty, and go home and take your $5,000 as you go.
yeah.
Not to mention, how many have you seen a direct correlation or a direct book to client acquisition line? Like, have you gotten any clients directly as a result of the book?
Yes, I have. And I can tell because in the book, there is a call to action in the back of the book that says, hey, you wanna work with me? Go to kendracorman.com/VIP consult. And it actually redirects them to schedule a little informational meeting. And so I've actually been able to track people who schedule those meetings with me from the book. And I was probably getting, because I wasn't really advertising the consultations for my VIP sessions or my VIP days, at all. And I'm getting at least one a week. And the only place that I really promote it is my book.
Real quick, I know you're enjoying today's conversation, but do you want to write a book that helps you get clients for your business, grows your audience, and expands your opportunities, but you don't know how to get started writing this type of a book that can help you produce these results? Even if you don't feel like an expert, the very act of writing a book will help position you as one. And there is a proven path forward that will help you get what you want. I put it all together for you in my 4 steps to book writing success. Visit www.writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps. Not only do you get the steps, but I also give you videos for each step, breaking them down so that you would know your actionable steps to follow to get started writing your book right away. So hit pause on this episode right now and head over to writingwithdeniserenee.com/4 steps to download, and then unpause so we can get back into this conversation.
And I'm getting at least one a week. And the only place that I really promote it is my book.
That was a key gem to people who are looking to get clients from their books. The thing that I tell my clients, and I, share it. I think I have a video on it. You have to put a book funnel into your book. You need to have a lead magnet or some kind of call to action that says, hey, if you want to take this one step further, do this. And then you can track the results and see how they become, how they go from being a reader to being a paying client in your business. I mean, this is just like also wrapped up so nicely, neatly in a bow. I love it. So let me ask you this. Do you have any plans for writing any other books?
It's funny that you ask, because I've been thinking about that. I was like, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I should do another one. So because it was nowhere near as painful. I am thinking about doing a second edition of this and updating it to reflect a couple of the other AI tools that I use and update those calls to action. So I think that there's a lot of opportunity there. But I've also been thinking about writing a book on really leveraging AI in marketing, how to leverage it for your podcast and make your podcast into social posts and email newsletters and everything else. Because let's be real, the thing that most of us do not have enough of is time. And so the more we can squeeze out of everything that we do, the better off we are. And that's what AI gives us the power to do.
Awesome. I'll be waiting. I will definitely be waiting. Is there anything else that you want to share about like the book writing and marketing process? Like, do you have your book anywhere else? Is it just only on Amazon? Oh, we really haven't talked about how you market the book. You were just like, yeah, I'm showing up to this event, and boom, six speaking engagements. Thank you. I'm going home now.
Right.
What else do you do? What else do you do to market your book?
So I take it everywhere I go. I have at least 5 copies in my backpack at all times. So I do take it everywhere that I go. I talk about it at networking events, at different things, different places that I go. I got a speaking gig coming up to a huge group coming up, and I'm super excited. This will be the largest group that I've talked to. I mean, we're talking a couple hundred people. So I'm very excited about that.
And you're going to have a whole bunch there to sell to them as well?
Yes. So in the past, I've given away. Now they're available for purchase. Because they'll have seen me speak. They'll have learned about it. You can get the free e-copy on my website, so that's there. But it's I mean, I bring it and talk about it everywhere. In my LinkedIn profile, it talks about how I'm an author. When I rotate through different promotions that I'm highlighting in my LinkedIn headline, I go from the book to my freebie to whatever that happens to be. I highlight it in my YouTube description. So for all of my videos, especially if I'm talking about anything related to AI, I will highlight the book and where to get it on my description on YouTube. It's a part of who I am now. I am not just Kendra Corman, marketing strategist, small businesses and nonprofits, but I'm also an author. And that carries more weight than anything else I've ever done. Yeah, I'm a podcaster. They're like, yeah, so we're like 800 million other people. But my claim to fame is I had a failed podcast first that I got bored of. Thanks to AI, now I can keep it going. But
you say I got bored of? I'm done.
Right? And so, so I'm a podcaster, but I'm also an author. And people don't even, like, half the people I don't even think read the book. They're just impressed that I'm an author and took the time to do it. And it gives me so much credibility. So much credibility.
So you're basically just, you're not even going on a whole campaign. You're not spending anything on ads. You're just using the channels that you have already built up because you have a nice size audience on LinkedIn. You have a nice size email newsletter. You have your podcast audience. I think you're up to like episode 200 something. I was like, oh, she's been at this one minute. So you're already leveraging the audience that you already have, and then everywhere you go. So you're not really doing any specific, we're going on a book marketing campaign. It's just like you said, it's now part of who I am.
It is. It's part of, and And again, it's, a big piece of what I do is digital marketing for myself and my business. And that is a big component of it. But no, I'm not out just like selling the book or anything like that. The book sells for $5.99 on Amazon for the print version. I'm good with the $500 speaking gig and sending someone my $2.30 cost version. So it's really about, for me, it's about the results, because that's what's going to bring in more revenue than actually selling the book. And so, yeah, the more I can give away and the more that can result in clients and trainings and speaking opportunities, the better for me. And I love it.
What more needs to be said? What advice would you have for anyone who's been like thinking about writing a book and they're, what I like to call double dutching? It's like the two ropes are turning and you're you're thinking about whether or not you want to get in or not. What advice would you have to say to them?
So my big theme is it's progress, not perfection. So moving forward is better for you than anything else. Get started. Just get doing it. Find an accountability partner, someone that's going to hold you accountable to delivering. Come up with a deadline of when you want to have something done and make it happen. This book is not perfect by any stretch of my imagination or anybody else's. There's quite a few things that I would like to improve on it. But it got it done, right? It got it out there. It got me to be an author, which opened up a ton more opportunities for me and my business, and has brought in a lot of profitable initiatives for me. And so I would say, if you're thinking about it, just start. If you're not, if you need somebody to run it by Claude.ai or ChatGPT and start asking it questions. Hey, I'm thinking about writing a book. Here's my outline. What do you think? Right? It'll tell you. Some of it you're going to be like, whatever, which is fine, but just start. That's the hardest part, because what we imagine the process to be, we imagine it to be a lot bigger and a lot more difficult than it truly is. So
awesome. Where can people find you and your book?
So KendraCorman.com is where you can find me, and you can find like all the links to my social channels, including my LinkedIn, which is where I spend the most of my time. And then on YouTube, you can also find me there. It's at Kendra Corman. And then if you would like a free e-copy of my book to check it out, I have a flip book version that you can request at KendraCorman.com/AI book.
Nice. There's one thing I wanted to comment on, and you said it was a little while ago, you were talking about how you are marketing your book and that you had it in your LinkedIn profile. Excuse me, because I'm going to get on my soapbox for authors. Those of you who are on LinkedIn, I go searching for everyone who's been on my podcast has either been someone that I know or someone who's referred to me, in my network or something like that. But I actually go searching to see, who might be a good person to be on the podcast. And so I look for people who have author in their title, and the amount of people that I have to go hunting and digging and searching authors in their title, nowhere in there about me, nowhere in their link. Let me tell you something. Go to my girl Kendra's LinkedIn bio. Go to the About section. Boom! Link to the book. Go to her website. Boom! Link to the book. She's a fantastic author. Hold on. We're going to get rid of her for a second. Talk about her behind her back. She's a fantastic author. She has two websites. One is the business website, and then one is her in her personal brand. Her personal brand website is making me rethink. I'm like, girl, you better go redo your website with the quickness. Her website is fantastic. If you want a mini masterclass in how to present yourself as an author, go, go, okay? KendraCorman.com. Go. Because it's fantastic. It's phenomenal. She's an awesome person to learn from. And please, if you're going to say that you're an author on LinkedIn, please don't make us go hunting for your book. Okay, my soapbox is over.
Thank you so much. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. So be sure to check out my About page when you're there, because someone was looking me up to, someone had suggested me, because they had a copy of my book, to their organization, and they were looking to hire me as a speaker. And so the organizers of the event went to my website and to my About page, and they're like, oh my God, she's going to be perfect. Love her personality. Just from reading my About page. They hadn't even met me. So be sure to showcase your personality and who you are and a little bit of your thoughts in your About page. Spend more time on that. It's the second most visited page of your website.
Masterclass. And we're gonna figure out a date. I'm gonna figure out a theme. I don't know. I have to put my brain to it. Maybe I'll ask Claude or ChatGPT to help me come up with an outline. But we need to do. I definitely want to have you back, in kind of a little bit more of a teaching capacity to talk more about prompting and how to even. Because it's really about the way that you approach it that you will get better results. So look out for a prompting masterclass coming up, and go grab her book. Go check out her website just to stalk her and take some notes. She's an amazing person to learn from. Check out her YouTube video, because now her stuff is like always fed to me. So I'm like always in there in the comments. Just follow, because she's awesome. She's amazing. And she's going to teach you some good stuff. So with that being said, thank you so much for hanging out with us in this episode, and check out this next one next, and I'll see you on the other side.